welcome to. There we go. Hey, bud, what's happening?
Oh, we took a week off, buddy, and she's slow going there. Welcome.
We'll slow off the launch here. It is the 3BeerPod. It is season 3, episode 1. Welcome to it, Timmer. Was odd not chatting with you last week, bud.
It was. I was lost, man. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I sent you a text and said, "Hey, bud,
you know what
are we doing here?"
You know what I was just thinking? Just as we were launching there, I was thinking we should have done what the Duke boys did, the Dukes of Hazzard, back in the day. Remember, there was just that one season where Bo and Luke.
Yes.
And then it was Coy and Vance.
Coy and Vance, yeah, the other cousins.
Yeah, the two that kind of looked like Bo and Luke Duke, a blonde and a brunette, and then they didn't really describe what happened to Bo and Luke.
No, and then Bo and Luke came back the next season.
Yeah. What do you think was really happening with Bo and Luke Duke? Do you think they were in the clink? Do you think Boss Hogg finally got him?
I think so. Yeah, there's untold stories of Dukes of Hazzard. I think is what we just revealed right there.
And then they wrote it off as like, contract dispute. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That's
sure
what it was. That's what it was. Well, welcome to it, the 3BeerPod, episode number 1 of the 3rd season. We're excited to be back. We have got our sponsors to thank right off the top. We'll start with Shana over at the Health House, if I could spit that out. Thank you to Shana, who is our longtime sponsor. We want to thank me.
And Chris McLeod at Realty House. Thanks for being on board still, Chris. Selling houses left and right. You need a house sold. Sign up today. 36 beers. Sign up today to sell a house. Yeah, pretty solid.
And we want to welcome to season 3, episode 1. Our sponsor tonight is our friends over at Sons of Kent Brewing in Chatham, Kent. Here, Sons of Kent, our good friends, have been with us for all 3 seasons now. And Timmer, we usually start with what you drinking, bud. So we've got a beer here that we're going to try from our friends over at Sons of Kent. So why don't we start off right off the top with telling you what that beer is, and we'll go to Colin over at Sons of Kent. All right, man, what do we got?
All right. Really excited about this. Coming out on October 1st, we have our Fest beer, which is our Oktoberfest lager beer. It's a traditional German Marzen. Really excited. We got these limited edition steins to go with it. Nice amber color. Pairs well with really delicious German food like pretzels and sausages and schnitzel and whatever else you got. But it's delicious beer. Come and get it this Thursday, October 1st, available at noon. We got a lot of it. We're really excited, but it will sell out, and when it's gone, it's gone. Cheers.
There you go.
Love this. I love this can. This is a sweet can. I don't know if I'm going to aggressively pour it like Colin did right there in my new Sons of Kent. Look at that, buddy. I was so you already poured it. I'm in.
I didn't waste any time, Timmer. Didn't waste any time. Cheers. The Fest beer from Fest beer Oktoberfest lager from Sons of Kent will be available Thursday. I was watching them can it, Tim. I've never actually been there in the canning line to see that go down. So,
did you jump in, slap some labels on for them?
Nope. Just grabbed my beer and got out of there.
Got scared of manual labor.
So that's pretty sweet. So thanks to Sons of Kent, our sponsor for episode number 1. And get this right here, Fest Beer. We've got more from Sons of Kent, which we'll talk about coming up in the Beer Buzz here in just a couple of minutes. All right, Tim, outside of the Fest Beer, what else you drinking tonight, bud?
So I got the Fest Beer. I'm also scooped up some of these last week from Sons of Kent. The Backyards, which is delicious, is the Sasquatch wet hop ale. And I think it's 2 hours from vine to beer where they threw that wet hop in. And this is a delicious beer. I'm going to get to that one. And keeping it local here because of our guest here tonight. So I got a growler here of Red Barn. This is the Osborne Farm Session IPA. We made our way out to Red Barn on the weekend to check out their patio, maybe for the last real nice day. Although this weekend's shaping up pretty nice still too.
Yeah.
So get out to Red Barn and try their beer out as well. I got this growler. I don't know if I'll get through the whole thing tonight, but we'll see.
That's aggressive. That's aggressive. So
That's
obviously
aggressive.
drinking the best beer. Wanted to highlight tonight. We're gonna have to get these guys on at some time. Cured Craft from Leamington, the
Leamington.
Honey Badger Wheat Ale, which is delicious. I've already had one of these, but I got this from a client who I wanted to wish good luck this week, who opens up her business or gets control of her business this week down in Leamington. So make sure you check
Nice.
out. I won't even mention who it is because that's her thing to announce. But congrats, thanks Jen for that. And I had the ladies of my life get up to Allura Brewing, and I'm going to have myself a 3 Fields, a triple grain lager tonight. So we'll see if we can get through that. This seems intimidating though. That seems like a lot of. That's just a
aggressive.
regular Steinworth. Timmer, our guest is standing by. We will have more coming up in Beer Buzz here in just a little bit. Let's bring in our guest here tonight on Season 3, Episode 1. We're going to pull in all the way from Dresden, Ontario, by way of Detroit. It is Trevor Thompson. Good evening, Trevor. How you doing?
What's up, guys? You're making me thirsty. I just got off the golf course and I had a few, so lucky for you.
No, that's
I'm right on that plane with you. It's all good.
That is awesome. This is awesome. We're so excited to talk to you. We've asked. This is our third season debut, Trevor. And ever since we started, we've had so many people reach out and say, "You got to get Trevor Thompson. He's a local guy, Fox Sports Detroit." And we're so happy that we could finally line up a conversation.
My mom has called you that many times. I don't know why.
We got to say thanks to Jason Dudley. Jay Dudley's actually the buddy that hooked us up. So thanks, Jay, who will give a sponsorship mention here tonight on the 3BeerPod. Trevor, Fox Sports Detroit. You've been there now for how many years? You've been with Fox Sports Detroit?
20 years, guys. I moved here in May of 2000, and it's been quite a run ever since. And it's been a blast, actually. And to be so close to home, doing what I love to do, has only made it all the more special. But it's been a great run, to say the least.
Well, let's back up. Born in Dresden, and how do you end up at Fox Sports Detroit?
It's a really good question. At the time I got offered this job, I was offered 3 jobs to come to Detroit, to go to Seattle, or to go to Arizona. And I was in Vancouver at the time. And I said I would go to Detroit. And my agent at the time said, "You heard what I said, right? You can go to Arizona or Seattle. Why the hell do you want to go to Detroit?" I said, "Because it's an hour from where I grew up. I grew up on everything Detroit. It's moving home. Give me that gig." So I took it from there. But before that, I was at TSN. I started at TSN. CBC with Hockey Night in Canada was my first job. Then I moved out to Vancouver. Then this opportunity came up when Fox Sports expanded their regional product. And like I said, there were 3 offers on the table. And I said, "Give me Detroit." And I've been here ever since.
That's quite the story. And I guess even before that, whose dog? Is that my dog?
Must be.
It must be. Trevor, before that, so how does a kid from Dresden make it onto Hockey Night in Canada? What happened between there? Where did you go to school? And how do you end up on Hockey Night in Canada?
Here's the secret, guys, and it's more than a cliche. It is the truth. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Because a guy from Dresden actually hooked me up with the job I've got now indirectly. Scott North, friend of mine I grew up with, we're basically the same age, but he ended up with a job while working with the Hall of Fame. He was the keeper of the cup back in the early 90s. And him and Phil Pritchard took the cup around, and I said, "Scott, I want to get into broadcasting. Who do you know that I can sit and talk with and pick their brain about the route I should take, how this all works, and how to be successful in broadcasting?" He said, I don't know Ron McCall, and he's a great guy. He'll talk to you. So I called Ron McLean. Ron McLean took me to lunch. I was living in Kitchener at the time. And I told him what I wanted to do. I was going to move to Toronto. I was going to go to Ryerson, take their television radio arts class. And how do I go about this? And Ron said, when you get to Toronto, you give me a call, let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you. I moved to Toronto. It was before the start of the 92 season. He said, "Come down Saturday night." It's before the season started. "Come down Saturday night. We've got you a job as a runner with us on Hockey Night in Canada." I said, "What? Okay, I'll be there." And really, like I say, the rest is history. So I worked 2 seasons as a runner for Ron and Don on Hockey Night in Canada. I was working at CBC on the weekends and TSN doing highlights, behind the scene work, editorial assistant stuff. And it just went from there. Then I moved up to Vancouver. That's why I was in Vancouver before I moved back to Toronto. But working with the Grizzlies and the Canucks, when the Grizzlies first came on board, same year as the Raptors, that was my first on-air gig as a sideline reporter for the Grizzlies. And it's just all unfolded from there.
That is so cool. And then for those watching that may not be from the area, we're based in Chatham, and Dresden's just north of us, just outside of Chatham. So those that are watching from beyond, that's where Trevor's hometown is. So reaching the Hockey Night in Canada. Now, Ron McLean was one of our guests in our first season here on the pod, and he is like the most normal guy, despite being one of the most popular Canadians in the world, isn't he?
That guy's fantastic, isn't he? Just humble, down to earth. He's a real person, and he's the same on air as he is off. Just very low key, mild mannered, salt to the earth kind of guy. And to this day, I owe him and I owe Scott everything for where my path has taken me in this business and getting a start in this business. And it's just been fantastic.
Remember, Tim, he just grabbed a beer and started crushing it as soon as we started the show. He's like, "Oh, we're drinking beers, eh?" And he just
he said he was taking the night off, but he joined in with us anyways. It was awesome. Ron McLean, just a good dude. In 20 years in Detroit, you've really seen a lot, and you've seen a city grow to being a pretty awesome North American city again. It's revitalized itself. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that's been like to kind of see the transformation of that downtown area in Detroit and where we're at now with what it looks like?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I said I moved here in 2000. So the year that I moved here, they opened up Comerica Park. And that was the first venue that opened. So I came here, moved into a brand new stadium. And since then, they built Ford Field for football. Then they built Little Caesars Arena for hockey and for basketball, moved the Pistons out from Auburn Hills. So just from that standpoint alone, you've got 3 brand new stadiums here over the last 20 years. And I mean this with no hyperbole, and I thought this before I moved here. This is the best sports city in North America, if you ask me. They're very passionate, very knowledgeable fan base. So you move here, and in 03, the Tigers lose 119 games. By 06, they're getting to the World Series. And then in 2012, they were back in the World Series again. In 04, the Pistons won the NBA championship. I covered that. In 02, the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. I was covering that. That was fantastic. I think it was 05 or 06, the Shock and the WNBA won the WNBA championship. That was fabulous. That was as big as any championship I've ever covered. It may sound strange, but that the Palace was packed for that. And it was like any championship I've ever covered. It was fantastic. They've had golf events here out in Grand Blanc. They had the Buick Open. Tiger Woods, all those guys have come through here. They had the senior tour in Dearborn at the TPC. All those senior guys came through, covered those events for years. And it's just been fabulous. They've had a Grand Prix here for auto racing. Every sport under the sun has come here. They've had a Ryder Cup here. They've had the Amateur Championship for golf here. It's just been everything has come through Michigan, through Detroit, and I've got to be a part of it. So it's a fabulous sports city. It's an hour from home. My family's got to come and take part in a lot of this with me along the way. So all those things are special. And it's just been a great, great time. It's been a fun ride and a great ride here in Detroit.
Okay, you talk about some of the greatest times with Detroit sports. You're going through a rough patch right now. You've got the Lions who are always going to kick you as soon as you get excited to follow the Lions. You've got the Tigers that had a rough year, the Pistons, the Red Wings. What's it like covering Detroit sports right now when it's really a tough go here for all 4 major sports teams?
Well, you notice I didn't mention the Lions in my first rip through all the things that have happened here. It's been a while. But you know what? Although it's been a while for the Lions, there's a passion around that team that is second to none, even with the struggles they've gone through over the years. You guys might remember the Millen Man March in the Millen era when they were revolting against Matt Millen. I covered the Lions during that period. 3 years on the road, I had to travel with them on the road, never covered a win. That was the first time they lost 24 straight on the road. I mean, it was crazy. But still, the passion for the team was there and has been there to the point they had the Millen Man March. I mean, the fans weren't going to have it. But the Lions, they have a passionate fan base, certainly there. The Tigers, they got to 2 World Series with Jim Leland, and now there are some lean times under Al Avila. But their kids are coming up. They've got some promise there. They've got some top of the rotation pitching arms that they've been able to draft. Then they drafted Spencer Torkelson, top of the draft this year. He's got a big stick. Riley Green's got a big stick. Those kids are just around the corner. They're going to arrive on the scene. That's going to energize the Tigers fan base, certainly. You look at the Red Wings right now, 25 straight years that they were in the playoffs, won 4 Stanley Cups during that run. And certainly Ken Holland isn't here, but his imprint is still felt on this team. Then you bring back a guy like Steve Yzerman. He's going to get it right. Tampa Bay Lightning just won the Stanley Cup with a team that he really built. He's only a year removed from that. So he certainly feels there's a feather in his cap for what they've been able to do. They're going to get it right here in Detroit. The Pistons are going to continue to try. Dwayne Casey is a great coach. I don't think they should have fired him from the Raptors job personally, but you bring a great coach like that here, they're going to get it right. I just think that this fan base, although there are some lean times, these things are cyclical. You guys know that. It's going to come back around and in short order here in Detroit. So the fans are as passionate as ever, and they're not going to have to wait long to have another winner in all four of those sports very soon, I think.
What's your sport, Trevor? Because I know we were supposed to talk to you. We asked to see if you were available next week. You said can't do it. NHL draft, can't do that at all. What's the sport that you would most you most follow yourself personally?
I think since I've been here, I used to love baseball. I played college basketball, but I think since I've been here, the Red Wings, the passion this town feels around them, being around some Cup winners and another team that got to the final, and they've got a roof and they've got a clock. After you cover baseball for a while, you'll appreciate a roof and a clock. So certainly covering hockey, you know when the games are going to end. You have an idea when you might get out of there, and they got competitive teams. Hockey's been a blast to cover here in the city of Detroit. And I would say my number one sport since I've been here, that's been my favorite sport, my favorite team to cover.
Well, here, while we're talking about hockey, this is one of your bits, and we'll let it play here in the background. But Trev takes on, and this is you and Nick Lidstrom, Hockey Hall of Famer, maybe the best defenseman to ever lace it up for the Detroit Red Wings. This is a kid from Dresden on the ice with Nick Lidstrom. Like, sometimes you must got to sit back and just think, damn, what is happening here? That's awesome.
Are you kidding? I mean, seriously, it's exactly what you think. I'm skating out on the ice with Nick Lidstrom, Pavel Datsyuk, Darren McCarty, just out there clowning around on the ice with these guys after their practices. And to have relationships with some of those guys over the year, to get to know some of those guys, it's surreal when you think of coming from Dresden, 2,500 people in my hometown, to be around guys like this, to have developed friendships with some of these guys, Chris Osgood, to work with these guys today. I'm not name dropping by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just trying to impart on you how utterly unreal this is. I just came from a golf outing where I golfed with Kirk Gibson, Matt Shepard, who calls the Tiger games, and my colleague Johnny Kane. And we had a foursome out there today. And to work with a guy like Kirk Gibson after watching him hit these massive home runs, these big home runs, World Series memories that we carry with us for a lifetime, and to work with these guys, to call them friends and to associate with them on this level is something I couldn't have drawn up. You know, the truth is stranger than fiction, as they say. And to be a part of this, to have this been my career, to have these people be friends, you just can't even explain how it happens. It's just where life takes you. It's an incredible journey. It's been an incredible journey.
We're going to have to get Gibby's number from you, because we would love to have Gibby on
You should
this
see
show.
Gibby out there. This guy, the mental makeup of this guy, he's out on the golf course. He's got Parkinson's. He's fighting it every day, but his attitude is, F you, Parky. I'm coming at you every day. And he just gets out on the golf course today, and he's running from the cup off the green to his cart, and he's just, his mentality is he's going to attack every day. He's going to get the most out of it. He's not going to let anything in life beat him, not the opposition, not Parkinson's, not anything. And it's inspiring to be around and to watch this guy go at life every day.
That is so cool. Talking to Trevor Thompson from Dresden, now with Fox Sports Detroit. I was given a note here. Actually, Tim, we did have a comment here from Chad, who we saw perform this weekend. Trevor, which goes better with a beer, American Coney or Lafayette Coney? Do you know what that means?
Yes, I do, and I say Lafayette.
Lafayette. Okay.
Lafayette. That was my go-to.
Okay. What's better, American beer or Canadian beer?
Canadian, 100%.
All right.
Absolutely. It's not even close.
When was the last time you got to get home? This whole pandemic, it's obviously been tough.
I can tell you the exact day. March 4th is my birthday. I went over to Canada on my birthday, did some visiting, visited my grandma, who has since passed, had lunch with my mom and dad. My wife went over with me, and that is the last time I've been to Canada. It's the last time I saw my parents in person. The following week, we went to Washington to play the Capitals. The game was supposed to be on the 12th. On the 11th, they canceled the NBA. On the 12th, they canceled hockey. We flew back home. I haven't been to Canada or on a plane since. And it's been the longest I've been in this career without being on a plane, and certainly the longest since I left home, other than when I lived in Vancouver, that I haven't been home. So Yeah, that is the last time I've been to Canada. Last time I saw my parents. Last time I've been on a plane.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Somebody sent me a note this afternoon. Asked Trevor about Lennox Lewis. Do you know what that means?
I told you guys I played college basketball. I went to Conestoga College in Kitchener. My first year there, Lennox Lewis played on our basketball team. And
No way.
before he went to the Olympics and before he moved off and became Lennox Lewis that everybody knows, of course, he was a major sports figure in Canada. He was a heavyweight contender in the Olympics. And Lennox Lewis was a good friend of mine at the time, but this guy could hoop. He was a serious hooper. But he was also had a little edge to him. And I remember we were playing basketball in Algonquin, and he grabbed a rebound, came down, and came up with his elbows like this and popped this guy in the ribs. It sounded like a shotgun. This guy's ribs smashed. He dropped to the floor like a sack of wet cement. We didn't play for another 20 minutes. This guy laid on the floor, writhing around. They had to get the ambulance to come, the stretcher come and pick this guy up and take him off. Never saw him again. Don't know what happened to him, but I know he had broken ribs because we heard them crack. This guy was a big, mean man on the basketball court, but he was a lot of fun to be around. Yeah, so I played college basketball with Lennox Lewis. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Thanks, Jimmy, for sending that in. A buddy of mine said, ask about Lennox Lewis. I didn't know the story. I only knew I had to ask you about Lennox Lewis. You're a four-time Emmy winner and also the winner of the Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association Ty Tyson Award of Excellence. Now, growing up in these parts, we grew up with these guys, okay? Guys like George Blaha, Matt Shepard, Dan Dickerson, Dan Miller, Terry Foster, Ken Cal, Ken Daniels, Jennifer Hammond, Mario Mpemba, and Bernie Smilovitz is on that list. Those are names that we grew up with, man. That must be pretty damn sweet, like knowing that you're a kid from this area to have your name right alongside those guys and gals.
You know what? And I talked about Ron McLean earlier, but to me, when I really arrived, the most surreal moment to me was the first Pistons game I ever did working with George Blaha. And I was just like, George, man, I grew up watching you. I just can't believe this. I was a big Pistons guy back in the day. And to work with George Blaha on the same game, I froze my first time on air because I knew that he was watching me in the monitor. I'm like, I don't know what to say. George Blaha's watching me. I used to watch him.
That's awesome.
But that was really, really cool for me. But to be a part of the list that you just mentioned, to be an award winner along with those guys, again, guys, I just keep saying it over and over and over. But it's like a dream come true. There's things you don't even dream. Very surreal. But it's all happened. It's all unfolded. And the most special thing about it is to be doing it this close to home, with friends watching along the way, with my parents being able to take part in it. My brother lived in Windsor, came to a ton of free sporting events while he was here. He's been to Chicago. But it's just very special moments and very special accolades along the way, but nothing you could ever even dream of or think was ever going to happen to you in your lifetime.
That is so cool.
You grew up a Tiger sports fan or a Detroit sports fan. Of all the things that you've covered in the last 20 years, what's the one thing that stands out the most that when you were there, you're like, wow, I'm here to witness this go down? What's the memory that stands out the most?
Yeah, the Red Wings 0-2 Cup win, when you guys had guys like Brett Hall, Steve Yzerman, Chris Chelios, Dominic Hasek, Luke Robitaille, Steve Yzerman, Brendan Shanahan. I'm going to forget guys, but it's because there were just so many of them. They had like 11 Hall of Famers on that team. But to be sitting on the bus and they're all walking by you, there goes Nick Lidstrom, there goes Chris Chelios, there goes Steve Yzerman, there goes Brendan Shanahan on the bus, and it's only a Tuesday night game. It's simply fantastic to be a part of that. And that was, I think, might have been Pavel Datsuk's rookie year, I want to say. And they had the two kids in the GOAT line with he and Boyd Devereaux and Brett Hull. That's what they called that line back then. But to be around that team, to be around those guys, Dino Cicerelli was my on-air partner for the playoff run when we did the intermissions in the postgame. That team was special. That run was special. It was my second year here. To see a Stanley Cup awarded right in front of you in Hockeytown at the Joe, where I'd been to watch a bunch of games as a kid. That was the most special moment when I look back. I think it always will be to be around those guys and that team. That's definitely going to stand out.
We're just watching that Trev takes on Nick Lidstrom again. Did you play for the Dresden Kings? Were you a hockey player growing up?
I did not play for the Kings. I did play hockey in Dresden up until my the second year in Bantam Juvenile I played. Then the guys got interested in other things. As you know, girls come along, beer comes along, as you guys pointed out earlier. Guys get going in different directions. But I focused on basketball then because I was going away to college, so I ended up playing basketball and left hockey behind. But I got back into hockey and still play to this day. In fact, I've played my entire time here in Detroit, which is why I did the Trev Takes On videos with those guys, because I was still skating and thought, hey, I can get on the ice with these guys after practice on the Joe ice. That'd be pretty fun. I took advantage of that to that degree. But yeah, absolutely still play hockey. But that's as far as I took it in Dresden.
For sure. 20 years in Detroit. Tim asked you about some of the cool moments. Who are maybe you won't answer both these questions, but who are some of the best guys you've interviewed? And who are some of the just tough guys to interview? Maybe don't give you any answers and don't give you anything to go with.
It's easier to answer the guys that were tough because there weren't very many of them. Rasheed Wallace, he was a handful when he was here. Not my favorite guy to interview. I liked Rasheed until he got to Detroit. I was a big Rasheed Wallace guy until he got to Detroit. That wasn't easy. He did not make life easy on any of us, especially during their championship years in those runs. But everybody, for the most part, was very good to work with, fun to work with, great people, great to befriend. And we're just, the city gravitates to these guys, right? Like there are a lot of fan favorites there. A guy like Darren McCarty, fans here love him. And Darren McCarty and I are friends to this day. A lot of these guys that you get to know over the years, they're just really genuine people, humble people. Miguel Cabrera wasn't and isn't always a guy who puts himself out there for the media and for the fan base, and I wish he would because he's got a great personality. But from that standpoint, his I don't know, I guess he was uncomfortable in a way, but his unwillingness in that way to be a part of things, I think the fans missed out on a lot of his personality and what he could have offered from that standpoint. So I'm going to include him on the difficult list just because I think he could have done more, and he's got a great personality. But there were so many guys that came through here, so many superstars, so many Hall of Famers that were just great people on and off the field that it was just special to be around them.
I got one more. Who would you rather have a beer with, Tim? Do you want anything else before we wrap her up?
Oh, let's hit that one. Oh, his podcast.
Yeah. Well, we had a couple more things. So we want to talk about your podcast. You're involved. So I was looking up Trev Takes On, the checking in, and also the out in left field with Craig Monroe. You've got a lot of other things going on to keep you busy, right?
We had to. COVID came along, and we were like, what are we going to do?
Over here.
So we were all trying to stay relevant and trying to find things to do and trying to bring something to our audience. So we came up with the Out of Left Field podcast. Craig Monroe, former left fielder of the Tigers, and he's got a quirky little personality himself. So we thought, this little play on words. He used to play left field. He doesn't anymore. We're going to come at you with something a little different. So the Out of Left Field podcast was born. We've had some great guests on there. Jim Leland was on with us. The great Willie Horton was on with us. Larry Herndon, a member of the '84 World Series team. Kirk Gibson has been on our show. So you can look that up on the Fox Sports Detroit website and on the StreamCloud. No, this is StreamYard, right? SoundCloud. SoundCloud is what it is in iTunes. Yeah, you can find it there as well as on the Fox Sports Detroit website. But that's been a lot of fun to do, and we've had some great guests on there, so you guys might want to check that out. But we had to stay relevant. We had to find a way to keep doing what we do and entertain our audience and have some fun at the same time. And that's been a lot of fun. So certainly that was a great opportunity to give some life to that podcast. And
Tim, you wanted to rehash this memory right here.
Yeah, I love that when we posted that this week. That's Verlander's no-hitter in Toronto. I was at that game.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so in that picture afterwards, from a different angle, you would see, but I had ice on the top of my head, and I had no idea. I walked off the field, and we're all excited. Somebody goes, "Hey, man, you might want to wipe your head off. You got a pile of ice on the top of your head." So we're like, yeah, sure enough, there were like a dozen ice cubes right on top of my head. That suit was no good after that either, but it died a noble death for a worthy cause.
Yeah, fair enough, for sure.
For sure.
Another guy who's going to the Hall of Fame right there, Justin Verlander. Great guy to work with. We had a great relationship. Another special talent that came through this city. The fans loved him, and certainly he brought a lot to the city and a lot to the Tigers while he was here. But another great guy. I mean, there were Hall of Famers all over this joint since I've been here.
For sure. All right, we always wrap up with who would you rather have a beer with, okay? You have to have one beer, and you have to have it with one of these people, all right? We give you the options. Ernie Harwell, George Blaha, or Mickey Redmond.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've had beers with Mickey Redmond many times, so I'm going to pass on that. Ernie Harwell, I had the opportunity to buy Ernie Harwell dinner. We had to go to the to Cooperstown to the Hall of Fame. We had to stay over and come back the next day. So we were going to dinner, and I was fist fighting the guys at the table. I said, "I'm buying dinner. I'm buying Ernie Harwell dinner. I want to be able to say that one day. I bought the great Ernie Harwell dinner." Ernie didn't have any beers. I don't know that Ernie drank. So I guess it would be George Blaha, because I never had the chance to sit down and break bread with George. We've worked together many times, but we never had a beer or had dinner together. So George Blaha.
That's right. That is awesome. Trevor, we appreciate your time. You never did tell us, how did you golf today? I know you golfed and you named some of the guys you were with, but how did you hit them?
You know what? I mean, this is the truth. This is the best I hit the ball all season. I had the day of my life tonight, crushing it down the fairway. I was chipping. I was putting. We have what we call a shamble. Matt Shepard put it together for the entire Tigers crew. So we had 4 foursomes out there. It was a great time today at a place called Oakhurst, out near the Palace in Auburn Hills. It's right near Pine Knob. They used to call it Pine Knob. You guys ever go to a concert there?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Pine Knob. Okay, so you know relatively where that is. So we played Oakhurst today. Our group won, had a great day, striping the ball all day long. Had a few beers, as you guys have already had. I might go have another one just so I can ease my way into the rest of the night here. You're going to have to watch this presidential debate. You can't do that without something.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane over here right now.
You better drink up for that.
You guys can trash Trudeau all year long, all day long. I don't care what you got to say about Trudeau. You look at what the United States did during this pandemic, and you look what Canada did during this pandemic when you started at the exact same time. I think you guys have less than 10,000 people dead throughout this whole thing. We've got 200,000. Are you kidding me? It's been a complete shit show, if I may say. But
do you think, Trevor, you'll ever end up back in Canada, like at a TSN or a
this? I just might. They might kick me out.
That's awesome, dude. We really appreciate this. This is awesome to have you. You've been one of our most requested guests, and neat to finally lock you down here for tonight. Trevor, appreciate it very much.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me, and I appreciate it. And all the best to you and your families through all this madness.
You too, Trev. Can't wait to get you back over here. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely.
Trevor Thompson, Fox Sports Detroit from Dresden, Ontario, which is just outside of Chatham. It's really cool to get that guy on. And we were told he's going to be a great guest. Yeah, we're going to be a great guest. You got to get him on. And we didn't deny it. We think so too, but just trying to nail him down. And like I said, hey, why don't you come on next week, which is the 6th or whatever. And he's like, can't. NHL draft. I said, all right, what about the 13th? Can't. Got something else. Like, there's lots going on with Detroit sports. And man, that guy's right in the middle of it. He's one of us. How cool is that? That's pretty damn sweet.
What a great dude. What a great dude.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks again for hooking us up there. Jason Dudley, who watches the show every week, and I know he's watching here tonight, was the guy who made that happen, because we had reached out a couple different ways and finally got that to come together. So that is really cool. Thank you. That is cool. Timmer, we got some beer buzz here.
Beer buzz.
Beer buzz. Let's start. I got to find my phone here. Some of the stuff. So we were talking about Sons of Kent, and we announced their brand new brew, which is the Fest Beer Oktoberfest Lager.
Sorry. The can. I was going with this giant. This thing is amazing.
Well, let's tell them. So this will come out on Thursday at the brewery. You can pick it up while supplies last. I was watching them can this today. And when you buy it at the brewery, you also get, hold yours up there, Tim. Here it is.
Look at that.
You get yourself a beer stein.
That's beautiful. Get yourself one of these.
While supplies last.
While supplies last. I'm so glad I got one. Fill it up. I think it's a two beer can glass, so you're good to go.
All right. So what I have to tell you from Sons of Kent, Spirit Wolf is the seasonal at LCBO. So Spirit Wolf will now be available at the LCBO. Flywheel is now available again at the LCBO. Juice Box is on sale at the brewery and the LCBO. And coming in November, the Scotch Ale will be available at the LCBO. Wow. So
that's an exciting one. The Scotch Ale is a great winter beer. So that's exciting leading up into the Christmas season there to get the Scotch Ale. Yeah, Juice Box on sale. That seems like a great idea. I love it. Juice Box is delicious.
Grab your beers from our friends over at Sons of Kent. Guests in our first ever episodes in season 2. And I said Colin will have to come back for another Ask the Brewer segment in season 3 at some point. But there are sponsors here tonight. Tim, yesterday was National Drink Beer Day. Did you know that? Yesterday was National Drink Beer Day.
I didn't even drink a beer yesterday. I fell
Didn't?
asleep on the couch at 8:30.
Okay.
Wow.
Probably because you had a beer on Sunday.
Yeah, I had a couple beers on Sunday, but
pregame.
none yesterday.
All
Good.
right, so I got a little true or false for you, a
Okay.
little beer test for you
Here
with
we
the
go.
National Drink Beer Day, which was on Monday. On Family Guy, Peter's favorite beer is called Duff. True or false?
No, that's false. That's Homer Simpson.
There you go. That's an easy
false.
one. That's
All
an
right,
easy one.
crushed it. Yes.
All right,
Next.
Guinness is the oldest brewery in the world that's still making beer. True or false?
I feel like I'm getting baited into this one. I'm going to say false.
False. You're going to get marks on that one. Perfect. Yes,
Yes.
the oldest continuously operated brewery in the world is in Germany. It's called, I'm going to get this wrong, Weihunschaften.
Oh, yes. We had some of those last weekend.
Founded in the year 1040, 980 years ago. Guinness was founded in 1759, but Weihunschaften has been around for 980 years. Whew. All right, here's one. The Dutch word Heineken literally translates as fun light drink. The Dutch word Heineken literally translates as fun light drink.
That's a true. That's true.
a false. That's no points there. No points.
These y'all can't be false, can they?
Heineken was just the founder's name. 22-year-old Gerald Heineken convinced his mother to buy the first Heineken brewery in Amsterdam in 1864. Ma!
Good decision.
Buy me a brewery!
That one turned out pretty well.
Yep. So that worked out all right for them. That's pretty good. Oh, Colin says he's been to the Weihunschaften.
Right.
I'm surprised Colin recognized what I was trying to say there because I thought I was way off. All right, here's another one. National Drink Beer Day. Strongest beer in the world has a higher alcohol content than Jack Daniels. Strongest beer in the world has a higher alcohol content than Jack Daniels. Tim,
that's false.
No points there again.
What?
The world's new strongest beer was just set in the last 2 weeks or so.
That's some hearty yeast.
It's called Strength in Numbers, and it was actually a bunch of brewers, all kind of rival brewers got together to make the strongest beer in the world. It's a 57.8%. That one's
they're gonna stick to Jack Daniels.
That one sneaks up on you.
Sneaks up on you. That's a punch in the face. That's not a sneak up. That's a punch right in the face.
Ooh, Strength in Numbers, 57.8% alcohol. All right, last one on National Drink Beer Day, which was yesterday. Anheuser-Busch put out a beer for kids in the late 1800s. Tim, you're 2 for 2. You're 2 and 2 so far for a winning record. Anheuser-Busch put out a beer for kids in the late 1800s. True or false? True or false for a winning record?
That seems like the American way right there. For sure. True.
And we've got a win.
Yes!
Sneak into the playoffs.
3 beer?
True. It was 1.9% alcohol. They sold it as a nutritional drink for kids and as a tonic for pregnant women in the late 1800s.
The combo. You don't hear those combos anymore like that. It's good for kids and pregnant women.
We should talk to our friends over at Sons of Kent, see if they're working on a beer for kids just in time for the holidays. I don't know.
Just in time for the holidays. Get you through the COVID with the holiday kid beer.
Get you through the COVID. Hey, Timmer, so the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup last night. Did you see what happened during the playoffs last week when a bunch of the guys were sitting there cheering on the Tampa Bay Lightning from Tampa, where there's probably 17 hockey fans down there,
right.
But they had the police called on them because they thought there was a domestic. Somebody was sitting in their apartment and they heard from upstairs a ruckus and they heard, shoot, shoot, shoot. So they called the police and the police showed up and they went in and there was a couple of guys just watching the game yelling at the players to shoot.
Wow.
Yeah. So they, the police obviously investigated, asked them to see if there was any weapons in the house. There was not, which is good news. And
that could have really went sideways.
Yeah.
I'm going to be careful of what I'm yelling during sporting events now.
I guess one of the guys even yelled, "I dare you to shoot!"
Wow, like a mob hit.
Yep.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. So what happened prior to the next game? The downstage neighbors that originally called 911 then sent up a case of beer and said, "Sorry guys, I was just concerned." And our NBA playoffs, our NBA finals with Miami Heat coming up, so I'll be yelling "shoot, shoot" myself. So it'll be basketball instead. So
that's fair. Cases of beer solve lots of those problems. For sure.
Yeah, sells lots of
I
fish
should
chips.
probably drop off more cases of beer at my neighbors after I yell things like shoot to the raptors on my back deck.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
that is
terrible.
awesome. That's awesome. I don't have. Oh, Tara, I did want to mention. Did you see the story in the UK about the parrots that were locked up during the pandemic? So all these parrots at the zoo, like since the zoo was closed,
Come on.
was they pulled all the parrots off the end of their cage, right? So they put them in a room. They were quarantined, like all the other animals were back in their pens, and one of the parrots apparently learned a swear word and kept repeating it.
Come on.
So what do the other parrots do?
They all listen to it?
They all repeat the swear word multiple times. So parrots, when they get a reaction, I guess, and you know me, I love parrots, right? So
I did know you, and I did know that you're a good parrot.
big parrot guy. But when parrots get a reaction, they keep doing it. They keep going like. So the parrots started dropping F-bombs. And then when they finally reopened the zoo in the UK, all they did was swear.
Come on.
So they had to go and wrangle up all the parrots within 20 minutes.
And then what?
Pulled them back in. So now they've isolated the parrots. I think there's 5 ferrets, and they've isolated them all in separate rooms to try to get them to not swear.
Do you think it started with like a drunk zookeeper? Like they were just hanging out, zookeeper and the parrots were just hanging out, and zookeeper started swearing,
dropping bombs.
That's an amazing story. They had to be re-quarantined to do some sensitivity training. That's amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Hey, can you mention our latest sponsor as well?
Our new edition.
Oh, hold up. Before that.
Oh yeah,
I got my new Terry Fox shirt. That was awesome. Fred Fox was on with us just before the Terry Fox run, and my lovely wife Shauna got online and ordered me a Terry Fox shirt. So I'm pretty excited about that. And Fred Fox was awesome on here, and we raised a lot of money locally and across Canada for Terry Fox run. So that's awesome, and I was pumped to get the shirt.
Season 2, episode 12. You can go back and listen to that and have a watch of it. Fred Fox. That was really cool to have him on. Timmer, so what we do, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to this pod once we release it to your ear holes, you would hear what we've talked about, what's going on. We did have an episode that got flagged by the people at YouTube. Now, explain, Timmer, because you got some of the background. What's going on with this one?
No, I think we're going to make them our new sponsor because they claimed to be owners of our last episode, which was season 2, episode 12. I'm not sure, but our new sponsor on the 3Beer podcast is the Pakistan Super League, which is a cricket league that is 5 years old in Pakistan, and somehow they have now claimed that they're part owners of the 3Beer podcast. So welcome aboard.
Welcome
to the Pakistan Super League. So tune in if you got the World Cricket Channel. Make sure that you tune into the Pakistan Super League and cheer on our favorite team, who we have yet to establish. But I'm pretty excited that they're on board. Obviously, it pays to advertise with the 3Beer podcast. We are worldwide reaching now in our sponsorship. So contact us at the 3beerpodcast@gmail.com if you also want to become a sponsor like the Pakistan Super League.
Watch out for season 4 when we hit the road and tour across Pakistan.
Oh,
and it'll be some of our favorite cricket players.
We want to get close with our favorite people, our fans.
Welcome to the family, Pakistan Super League, a new sponsor.
Glad to have them aboard.
Hey, Timmer, we should drop in a little plug here for ourselves, I guess, a little bit. The Festival of Giving, the Children's Treatment Center Foundation, FOG, is coming up October 17th, and you and I are going to be the hosts of that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
That's a big deal for us.
It is. It's going to be a little bit different than past FOGs. So we're excited to still try and raise some money for the Children's Treatment Center here in town because it's obviously a worthy cause and it needs to keep rolling here. Even though COVID's hit, so hopefully we'll raise some big. I was looking at the auction prizes. There's some sweet silent auction prizes, and the live auction is going to be pretty rad too. I was checking some out again today. I'm afraid of what I'm going to bid on. Can I still bid if I'm hosting?
Yeah, of course you do. Like, I got to see
I'm
that
in.
happening.
I can't
hear
wait.
that. I'm going to see that happening. If you're looking for it, Facebook, Festival of Giving, Children's Treatment Center Foundation, FOG, F-O-G. Look that up, like it, and follow, because that's what we'll be broadcasting from coming up October 17th. That'll be a lot of fun. Corey says, in a weird twist, Chris is the #1 real estate agent in Pakistan. Yes.
That's
Okay.
moving some houses in Pakistan.
Pushing 10.
Our new sign.
Timmer,
Right,
that was a good episode. That was a lot of fun. Trevor Thompson was the dude. He delivered. We were
wow, he was great.
Yeah, we were talking about, why are you not in the screen? Get over there.
This way. Hey,
There you go.
Hey,
There you
I'm
go.
over here.
You said you were at this game, weren't you?
I was at that game. Yeah, it was Kids Run the Bases Day at Skydome, and my nephews were with me, and they wanted to run the bases. And about the 6th inning, I was like, "Hey, something special is going on here, buddy. If you want to run the bases, your mom can take you. I will be sitting here watching this game." And it was a perfect game until the 8th. Gave up one shitty walk. It was a terrible call, but no hitter. Pretty awesome to see a no hitter in Toronto. And I was not running the bases that day. Just didn't happen.
Neither were the Blue Jays.
You know what I'd like to do though? If when Trevor Thompson comes back to Canada, we hook up with him at the Dresden Legion.
Yes.
Have some OVs there.
Yes.
That'd be fantastic.
Coldest OVs in all the land. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, Jason Dudley, for connecting us too. Trevor Thompson, Fox Sports Detroit. We'll have his Twitter feed and his Instagram handle too if you're looking for it on our social medias. Thanks to our sponsors again, of course. Want to say a big thanks to Sons of Kent. Try out their brand new Fest Beer Oktoberfest Lager. Here, I'll put it back up there for you. You're going to get that and a Stein on Thursday at noon is when it will be available in the brewery. Awesome. You can get that. Thanks again for being our sponsor, and always thanks to them for being good partners here on the 3BeerPod. Also, thanks to Shauna over at the Health House and
Chris McLeod, our local real estate and possible #1 real estate agent in Pakistan.
And the Pakistan Super League.
And Super League.
Let's wait to see if they claim this episode too. Okay, and to the commissioner of the Pakistan Super League that is watching this, trying to claim this, you are invited on episode 2. Okay?
You imagine? This would be awesome. Let's get the commissioner of the Pakistan Super League on.
We have to. Timmer, cheers, buddy.
Good stuff, buddy. Glad to be back for season 3. Good things coming up here too, eh? Season 3 is going to be fantastic.
And thanks to everybody who's been suggesting and trying to connect us with some guests. That's much appreciated. We've got some good ones coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers, boys.